All right, welcome back, guys, to the Rodeo of Reason podcast. This is now episode 3, and today's guest is Divine Order. So, thank you for joining us today.
I appreciate you having me.
All right, first question. It's kind of just how you started off, like what brought you to TikTok in the first place.
Yeah, man. First of all, I appreciate you having me on, like I just said, taking the time to
No
put this out there.
worries.
Thank you. Yeah, what brought me to debating originally was just I had a passion for defending my beliefs. And what brought me to TikTok to carry that over is just because I wanted to spread those beliefs to other people,
Yeah,
right? I wanted to see how people would react, and I wanted to make an impact, change minds, change hearts. And that's actually what I aim to do every time I jump on live.
yeah, that's great. Have you always been religious?
No,
No.
a lot of people find this interesting because I would say with the youth, especially in the West, a lot of them say that they started off religious and then they ended up maybe becoming atheist or agnostic.
Yeah.
Whereas with me, I grew up mostly atheist, agnostic. I didn't believe in God, especially not Christianity. I actually used to debate against Christianity, so you could say I
Oh
was
wow.
an anti-theist at one point. But at the age of 19, I had a radical conversion to Christianity, where I had some personal experiences, as they call a Christophany, I believe it's called.
Okay.
Could be butchering that. And yeah, I started reading more about the historical Jesus, and that brought me to Christianity. And now I'm an inquiring Roman Catholic. So technically, I have to say I'm non-denominational. I don't like saying that out loud because people then think that I believe in rainbow flags at church and concerts. But no,
Yeah.
I'm inquiring Roman Catholicism. So
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, because I would have thought that you were like always religious, but yeah, that's really interesting, especially that you've debated against it before. But
yeah, I used to debate. Funny thing, I used to debate my grandfather. I used to watch all the people, like Richard Dawkins.
yeah,
I've read The God Delusion, Christopher Hitchens.
yeah,
That what they call new atheism. Some may say Reddit atheism.
yeah.
I was big on that, and I used to actually debate my own granddad about many different issues of the Bible. But yeah, now I'm a believer in Christ.
What does your granddad think now? Is he?
Well, he's proud. I actually, the first ever time I went to church was in the July of 2023,
Okay.
and he came with me. He was
Oh
the first
wow.
person I went to church with, yeah, which was a nice experience, and I got saved that day. And even though I don't currently attend that church anymore, I'm always grateful that it was a good step in my journey with my faith. And my grandfather's proud. He sends me Bible verses every day, and we do talk about God and Christianity quite frequently. He's a believer.
Oh, that's really nice. That's really good to hear. The second question was, what do you do in your spare time? And then I kind of added like, do you study philosophy a lot, or like any
hmm
hobbies?
hmm
You know?
Yeah, in my spare time, I love music.
Mm.
Unfortunately, not playing music. I can't play an instrument. I wish I could. That's one of the things I want to do one day. I
Yeah.
want to learn how to play an instrument before I die. But I
Me too.
generally I like playing. Yeah, absolutely. But what instrument do you want to
I
play?
want to learn how to play
Name one.
piano.
Piano. I agree. I would love to play piano,
Yeah.
but it looks so intense. Like if you mess
Oh,
up, it's just over.
yeah. I agree.
Like I feel like if I mess up a guitar solo, I can maybe play it off or drums. But with piano, nope, it's gonna be a different song. It goes from Beethoven
Yeah.
to Mozart real quick. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
Yeah.
but no, I wanna learn how to play an instrument. I think maybe a guitar, maybe acoustic,
Mm.
that'd be good. One dream is to learn to play Fast Car by Tracy Chapman on acoustic
Okay.
guitar. Love that song, and I want to play that. I want to be able to play that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love music, listening to music. I like playing games. So
Oh
I
yeah, I've
like
saw
playing,
Minecraft streams before. I have.
yeah, Minecraft streams. That's something we do pretty rarely, but it's fun to do. I do enjoy it. It's just time to chill. Kind of gives me a break from the debating.
Yeah.
It helps me unwind from the the constant debate mode. For anybody who debates regularly, you will know that it's like your brain is just constantly in this flow state, right? It's always in this mode of thinking about debating how to improve all that good stuff.
It's always the same
Um,
questions over and over again, isn't it? As well.
yeah, well, when you speak to people, especially those who aren't so philosophically inclined, a lot of them are going to have this similar kind of questions, and you have to be
Hmm.
charitable, and you have to kind of spend time. You have to get down to their level
Yeah.
without, patronizing them, and you have to get down to their level and explain to them in a way they understand, which is something I think I've really tried to do. But yeah, my hobby is generally just gaming, music. I like nature. If it wasn't for my asthma, I would do a lot more hiking than I currently do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like nature. I do plan hopefully one day to spend more time with nature, greenery, ocean, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Um, what are you up to like right now? Are you like working or university or what are you doing?
Yeah, so fun fact, I when I was 16, damn, 5, 6 years ago, I'm onk status. I uh, I dropped out of college after 3 weeks.
Okay.
I failed absolutely everything in secondary school. However, at the college that I went to for 3 weeks, they did allow me to reset earlier than everybody else because of special circumstances due to the COVID situation.
Oh,
pardon me, I was the COVID year, so I was
yeah.
2020, the secondary school back in March. It was a crazy time,
Yeah.
and that kind of threw a lot of pressure on me. Things were different. And we got judged on our mock grades, so I kind of got screwed over because I
Ah,
used to
okay.
never try in my mock exams. I thought, oh, I'm gonna ace the real thing, and then yeah, then a virus decided to ruin everything. But I don't go college. I don't currently go to university. I'm focused on building my platform, which a lot of people give me a lot of crap for. They
Yeah.
tell me I can't make it work. I say I'm going to prove you wrong. I already have done that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just keep building my platform, changing minds, helping people make the right decisions, informing people, helping people become more knowledgeable. I do a bit of charity work.
Hmm.
We do a lot. I do a lot of things that don't really involve the typical, what's the word? The norm. I've kind of
Yeah.
gone outside the norm, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. I think
Absolutely.
you've already built a good platform and a good following already, anyways. So yeah.
Well, I mean, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people tell me that if TikTok, didn't work out, what would I do?
Mm.
And I try and not stress about the future, I think that's a waste of time. But I
Yeah.
do plan on going to university one day. I just think that for me personally, I would rather get my financial situation sorted
Mhm.
and then go for qualifications rather than the other way around. We see people
Mhm.
get degrees and they've got a 60% unemployment rate.
Mhm.
I didn't want to end up in that boat, and then they're stuck with £35,000 of debt. As Charlie Kirk said, the late Charlie Kirk, rest in
Yeah.
peace, God rest his soul. College is a scam,
Yeah.
at least for young people.
Yeah. The third question was one from your viewers, like, what's your morning routine?
My morning routine, interesting.
Mm.
I wake up, I doom scroll on my phone for 12 hours. No, I wake up, I go downstairs, I start off with a high potassium breakfast, mainly banana. Usually the same thing every day, just banana, peach yogurt,
Mm.
probiotic, pure orange juice, and some
Lovely.
raisins. And that's it. That's my morning routine. I just kind of chill. Sometimes I pray. I always try and thank God for waking me up. I think prayer is important.
Mhm.
I think that I could spend less time on my phone because while I'm eating my food and doing things, I am kind of scrolling. So doom
Oh,
scrolling
oh.
wasn't a complete lie.
No, yeah, I
Um,
spend too much
but
time on
yeah,
my phone.
yeah. What's your screen time?
Oh,
Do you know?
let's have a look. Let's have a quick look.
Let's have a look. We're gonna see. Quick glance. I'm gonna tell you mine after,
Okay.
and this is gonna confirm to everybody listening that I actually am a basement dweller. So
To be fair, it says daily average 5 hours 6 minutes. That's not that bad. That's
I
not too
feel.
bad.
Do you want me to read mine? I got it
Yeah,
right
yeah,
here.
go, go.
Have a guess.
I reckon it's like 8 or 9.
Daily average 13 hours.
Oh my
Bro, that now hold on.
That's
Hold on.
more than
Three
half of
hours
the
of that.
day.
Yeah, hold on. Well, I'm actually sleep. If you think I sleep for 8 hours,
Mm.
so I'm on my phone for 13. That leaves three
Yeah,
hours a day
that's
where
true.
I'm not on my phone. And a little defense, right? 3, 4 hours of that is usually me on live.
On
So
live, yeah.
technically, I'm not really looking at my phone. I'm usually playing Roblox in the background. So while I'm debating people,
Oh yeah.
so I have a defense for my horrendous EMF habits. Just absorbing all that radiation.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's my morning routine. Really, I just very high potassium breakfast. Skincare routine. I don't know why I missed that.
Oh yeah.
I always do my skincare as well. I suffered quite bad acne growing up, but I do a
Mhm.
skincare routine, lymphatic drainage. Got to get the gua sha out. I may have a bath depending on that, or a shower. I prefer baths though.
Yeah, me too.
Showers, yeah, yeah. But once I got told that if I bathe, I'm a woman. I'm not a real man. Uh, I
Okay.
took that very offensively,
Yeah.
and I think that's very manly. In fact, the most masculine thing you can do is lay in a tub of your own filth,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah. Right. The next question, yeah, was more on the religious side of things. It was, how do you personally attack the Euthyro dilemma? Do you argue for God's omnibenevolence?
The Euthyro dilemma. That's the I'm pronouncing that right. That's the problem of evil, I believe. He argues that if God exists, then evil cannot exist, right?
I'm talking about the one where it says it's more about morality. Like wait, maybe you said it right. I'm getting confused, but I'm
Is it the
thinking.
one that's,
Mhm,
from my knowledge, it's the one, from my memory, I could be recalling wrong here.
mhm.
It's the if like an all-powerful loving God can't exist if evil exists, therefore, he offers different like, issues with it. Like if you say that God can stop evil, but he doesn't, then he's not all good. If you say God can't stop evil, then he's not all powerful. At least maybe I'm referencing the wrong thing. I don't know.
Okay, maybe. But this is the one I wanted to ask you. So, if does God command something because it's good, or is it good because God commands it? Have you ever heard that one before?
Does God command something because it's good?
Yep.
Or what was the second one?
Or is it good because God commands it? So this was like
Yeah,
for
I mean,
Plato. Plato mentioned this one.
it depends what you mean by good.
Yeah. So just.
Right? Because to me, under my view, God is identical to goodness. I'm going to hold to a view that's called divine simplicity, and that's going to be that God is identical to his goodness. God's identical to his attributes. There are no parts within God. So the question, maybe you can rephrase it.
Yeah, so like if God commands something because it's good, good already exists
Hmm.
independent of God. Obviously, I don't think you would agree with that. But if it's good
Mm.
because God commands it, he's just going to be like picking things arbitrary to be good. But then you can just say like
I
omnibenevolence
wouldn't
is
say,
in his
yeah.
nature, I guess.
Well, if you say something becomes good because God commands it, that would imply that good is not a necessary attribute. But because God is necessary, it would follow his attributes are also necessary.
Oh, okay. I've never
So
thought of it like that.
if you say that something becomes good because it's been commanded, but we're predicating goodness um, off of God, and God is identical to goodness. He's identical to his attributes. There are no parts within God. There's no composition. Then I think the question wouldn't really make sense there. So I wouldn't agree that something becomes good because God commands it, because good would be necessary, because God is also necessary, and so are his attributes, since God is identical to his attributes. And if you're talking about qualitative
S-
goodness or quantitative, that also might
mm,
be an important distinction there, because we
yeah.
could say that um, if God decided to make one extra rock because it serves a purpose, God could have achieved more quantitative goodness. But
Yep.
when we say God is all good, we're talking about qualitative, not quantitative. That's a common misconception.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. So you're just saying that because this is a necessary characteristic of God, that goodness will just be necessary within him, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds correct.
Yeah, okay, I understand that. I've actually not heard that response ever before, so that's definitely shifted
Are
my
you
view on that
familiar with the
question.
doctrine of divine simplicity? Have you ever heard of it?
Explain it to me.
Yeah, it's the idea that there is no composition within God, and God is identical to his attributes.
Okay.
Right. In fact, one of the arguments that a lot of people argue against Sunni Islam is that God is metaphysically composite, right? He's composed. I don't know
Hmm.
if you've heard of those arguments. Maybe we'll go into them later.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just arguing that there are no real distinctions in God, right? There are obviously virtual distinctions between the Father and the Son, for example.
Hmm.
But when we talk about like God's goodness is identical to him, right? To his essence.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. All right, I understand. The next question was, what do you think makes a productive debate versus an unproductive one?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think a lot of people spend too much time, especially on TikTok. A lot of debaters, in my opinion, on YouTube. Really, in the debate scene, I would say I've seen it firsthand. I think a lot of people waste time on semantics,
Mm.
and I think that causes unproductive debates. Right. So when I see people spending 40 minutes disagreeing on how to define a word,
Yeah.
I believe that a lot of that is due to being bad faith. I
Mm.
think that debate should be the pursuit of knowledge, the pursuit of truth. I think if you took ancient philosophers like Aristotle,
Hmm.
Plato, Socrates, right? All these people, a
Yep.
medieval philosopher like Aquinas, anyone,
Hmm.
I think they would laugh at the way that a lot of these debates go, and I think they would call it a mockery.
Yep.
And I think an unproductive debate is one that seeks out a gotcha or a W, as people say, a win
Yeah.
over a discussion on what is true. And for me, it's all been about finding truth. If I'm wrong, if I make a blunder, I've never felt ashamed. I've never felt bad. Now, A lot of people, they hate it. They hate when they make blunders.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
they despise it. For me, I love it because it just means my view is improving. Like
Yep.
my view in the past 2 years of doing this on TikTok almost, I've improved a lot and I've come a long way. And I'm sure in a year's time, I'll probably say the same thing about where I'm at now. And
Yep.
and that's just going to be the way it's going to be, I think, till the day till we're old, old and grey.
Yeah.
And a productive debate, on the other hand,
Mhm.
um, I think is one that really what I just said, an unproductive is one that doesn't focus on truth. A productive debate is one that is ordered and aimed towards the pursuit of truth, the pursuit of knowledge, and also one that I think allows both sides and ideas to be expressed freely. I think a lot of people, I think a big issue with some people who I've spoken to and I've seen is that while they know a lot of complex things, while they're very well read up on the literature, they're unable to convey these ideas in simple ways. And I
Yeah.
think if you can't convey complex ideas in simple ways, then having the knowledge on those complex ideas is pointless. Let's
Yeah.
say I have the cure to cancer, but if I can't convey it in a way that anybody can be cured, then what's the point in knowing the cure?
So
I
true,
say
man.
that for the same thing with knowledge. So a productive debate is one that focuses on truth and allowing both sides to be expressed freely and conveying complex ideas simply. And an unproductive debate is one that is focused on, like I said, the gotcha and the not the pursuit of truth. In fact, the opposite, just the pursuit of, I don't know, ego boost. I don't even know what
Yeah.
I would call it, but I think you've seen it as well.
No, yeah, 100%. I think you said that really well. I think most people are really scared to say that they like don't know what something means and to learn as well. Like they'll just,
Hmm.
act like they know what it is. And then you can like ask them, you're pushing back like what does it mean? And they just have no clue. So what's the point? No, it's just wasting
Yeah,
time.
absolutely. I've always, I've actually faced critique for people say that I debate people who aren't very maybe philosophically inclined or very intelligent.
Mm.
Well, I always say that you started at that point.
Yeah.
Okay, like there was a point where even me, even people who are listening to this, who have absolutely no knowledge about these things, they're not read up on, different normative ethical frameworks or
Yeah.
metaphysical, concepts, metaphysics, epistemology. They don't know any of this,
No.
right? So I think we've got to move away from this kind of culture that shames people for trying to seek truth and
Mhm.
rather push for it because we'll make way more progress. Like we'll believe me, it'll speed things a lot. It'll speed things along if we focus on the pursuit of truth over the pursuit of winning, as people call it, which I call
Yes.
garbage. I think that's baloney.
Yeah, no, I agree. Um, Next question is, do you think it's a worrying problem that so many people are for abortion? I actually don't know the statistics, but I would definitely suggest that more people are for abortion. Or do you think it's just
Mhm.
because of ignorance and they have no idea, like, how to even justify their own view?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I think to say that somebody believes something because of ignorance, I think is a cop out. I
Really?
hear a lot of people saying that, yeah, I do, because while I do think there are people who believe things through ignorance,
Hmm.
I think that to me feels like a get out of like jail free card. Like if we just say that, oh, well, those on the other side are just ignorant, right? I don't really think we're hearing them out. And as much as I disagree with the abortion industry, I think the abortion industry is evil. The
Hmm.
movement is evil. I stand against it firmly. I do think we should be charitable when it comes to hearing them out, as I previously said. And I do think that, let me be clear, I do think many people are ignorant.
Yeah.
I just don't think that should be our first response to when we hear like an opposition. And I've heard people do that before. Oh, you're just ignorant. I think
Mm.
that's not a good mindset. But I do think the abortion industry is evil. I mean, we look at the statistics; they're alarming, right? I mean, I believe according to the World Health Organization, it's an estimated 73 million abortions a year,
Yeah.
1.3 billion abortions since the 1980s. Now, here's a fun fact. I don't know if you know this or not so fun. Um, if you added up every death of every human being
Hmm.
in every war in the past 10,000 years, you get to a number of about 1 billion.
Yeah.
If you add up abortion in the past 45 years, you get to 1.3 billion. So that means that women have murdered more of their human offspring, their children,
Yeah.
than we've killed in war in really since the beginning of human history or modern human history,
That's
since we started recording it. So,
genuinely crazy.
well, it's alarming,
Yeah.
and I think what depending on regardless of which side you're on, I think you should be alarmed at the way that abortions are being used. We can talk about those exceptions and
Yeah.
those extreme cases, but I don't think there's really any good defense for the way things are currently happening.
No, yeah, I understand.
Hmm.
I did have a question, but I've just forgotten it now. Oh no.
Do you think I have a question for
Yeah,
you
yeah, go
about
on.
it. Do you think that people who agree with abortion,
Mm.
do you think they agree with abortion through ignorance or due to a desire to not change their mind?
That's a good question. Um, I don't know because I would love to say it's like through a lack of education and they just don't know all the ins and outs of the philosophical concept. But then again, you have so many people that once you explain it to them, they still just have that desire not to be changed. You know.
Yeah,
So I'm
correct. Yeah,
really not
that's and
sure.
that's
Yeah.
that's exactly why, and that's a good point. Thank you. You just worded what I wanted to say earlier. That's exactly why. Obviously, I've spoken to thousands of people. I couldn't give you an exact number,
Yeah.
a number, but I would estimate I've debated maybe between 50 and 100,000 people in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
I have, in one live, I could be speaking to 100 people a day. You do the math, you go live every day for a few years, and remember, I've debated in real life, I've debated on other public platforms, not just TikTok, before I
Yeah.
obviously arose to some success on TikTok. My little niche community, we love them, which some of you will be watching. Appreciate you watching. But
Probably.
I think that's the thing. I've explained to people like why abortion is wrong. I've given the arguments, and you'll see them like they have no response. And my
Mm.
view is this: if you don't have a rebuttal to somebody's view,
Yep.
I'm not saying you have to instantly convert and change your mind, but you should at least concede that your view is false, your argument is false.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody beats you in a debate and you don't have an argument, I would go back to the drawing board. But they don't do that. They go to defensive, right, to aggression. And that's how I know that it's not through ignorance, but rather through a desire to not follow and believe that which is
Yes.
good, right? It's the selfishness of the human heart. I call it the sin of mankind. Obviously, as a Christian, I know
Mm.
you're not a Christian. I think you aren't, correct?
No, I'm not. No.
No, but yeah, that's I think it's a good point that people just simply don't want to follow the correct things, unfortunately, and that's the world we live in, you know?
Yeah. Bringing it back to the point that you said about the statistics about 1.3 billion over the last 45 years or whatsoever, it annoys me when I see those posts where I think Charlie Kirk said, abortions were worse than the Holocaust. And people love
Mhm.
just like taking the mick out of that without even kind of realizing what that means.
Well, the reason why people find that absurd is, listen, you
Hmm.
have to put yourself in the pro-choice's shoes. I
Yeah.
mean, why does that sound absurd to them? Well, let's do it. Okay. To them, a woman's rights are being taken away,
Hmm.
and it's a clump of cells that isn't human,
Yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with killing it. To them, if I believed that a fetus was as valuable as bacteria when I brush my teeth, I also would find Charlie Kirk's comments crazy.
Yeah.
But if we equip ourselves with the reality, when we get a grip on reality that they are human beings,
Yep.
they do have value, and they are made in the image of God, and they are being harmed by abortion significantly in a plethora of ways, then we realize that Charlie Kirk's comments weren't actually crazy.
Yep.
The loss of any innocent human life is sad. And I would say that would be true whether it's a Jew in Auschwitz, whether it's a
Yep.
unborn human child, whether it's an innocent starving Palestinian, whether it's a Ukrainian, whether it's a British person. As a Christian, I think all human life is valuable inherently. So I think I see why they find it crazy, you know?
Yeah, I see. I see why, because obviously, like you said, they don't think it's a human. They think it's clump
Mhm,
cells, whatever. But then it's just like
mhm.
it's annoying because they have that lack of education, and you can't really like you
Yeah.
just see. I don't know. It's annoying. But
It's
yeah,
it is frustrating, especially when they have the internet at their fingertips. I don't
I
think there's
know,
an excuse. I don't think there's an excuse to be ignorant when you have the internet at your fingertips. You can
100%.
verify anything. Like, has anybody ever said to you that a fetus is, I don't know, not a human being? You heard that before?
I've heard. Do you know what I've heard before?
It's a
I,
parasite?
I no. On the topic of veganism, yeah, someone told me that
Uh,
a cat doesn't have a brain. I mean, how bad
wow.
does it get? Like genuinely.
Well, well, that's frustrating because before, the way I see it, and I
Hmm.
say this on my live all the time, before you came up and made such a dumb comment, you could have typed in what you said on Google, right,
Hmm.
or any search engine,
Yeah.
and you could have verified it. So if you said, "Is a fetus a human?" It'll say yes. Right, it's
Hmm.
of the human species. Or does a cat have a brain? Right, they would have got their answer without making themselves look a
I
fool, and
know.
that's why I get annoyed because it's foolishness, you know.
Yeah, I agree. The next question, I think we've kind of done. I said, what's one thing you've learned from pro choice advocates? But I guess it would kind of be that desire to not change their mind. Unless you have something else.
What's one? It's well, I would say there's something else I've learned from pro-choice
Hmm.
advocates as well.
What would that be?
Um, yeah, uh, I believe that I have learned since speaking to these people, um, that they will go to any length
Mm.
to hold or stay consistent with their beliefs. Now,
Yeah.
that's not really the same as a selfish desire, because I'm not talking about selfishness anymore. Uh, the truth is people have this misconception. I see it all the time in debating. They believe that if an argument is logically sound,
Hmm.
right, that it's somehow a good argument, right?
Yeah.
If it doesn't have any contradictions or any issues like that, then it's a good argument. I
Yeah.
disagree. You can make a logically sound argument for slavery.
Oh,
You can
100%.
make a logically sound argument for burning billions of newborn babies. Like you can make logically
Hmm.
sound, as they say, arguments. But in my opinion, for an argument to be valid, it not only has to correspond with obviously formal logic, right?
Hmm.
The classical laws of logic, it can't violate those, but it also has to be in correspondence with the moral law, right? With moral truths, because there's logical consistency, and then there's also a position which reflects that which is good, that which is just, and that which is unjust. And I think for an argument to be sound, it has to meet both of those criteria, not one. And I think pro-choicers are just focused on keeping a sound argument logically, like Destiny, for example.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've seen Destiny debate abortion, but when he debated Trent Horn,
Yeah.
there was some absurdities he agreed to, whether it was that it would be okay to kill Jackson Buell, who had a brain deformity called microanencephaly, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Um, and certain things like that are clearly unintuitive and absurd, but he still kept to them because he was so desperate to hold on to his view. And as a debater myself, I think people need to be less afraid to abandon their views.
Yeah.
I've seen it before. People say this. They'll say, "Oh well, it's better to have an absurdity than a contradiction." I disagree.
Yeah.
If my view entailed something truly evil, I would abandon ship and I wouldn't go down with the ship because I think that's you being bad faith.
Yeah.
And I'm going to prioritize, as I said, truth over bad faith. So yeah, the thing I've definitely learned from them is that they'll cling on to ship. They won't abandon when they should, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. Because like you
You
said,
experience that with vegans? Sorry.
yeah, yeah, 100%. They'll take it to extreme lengths. But yeah, I never thought about it kind of how you said it with kind of making that valid argument with a valid rule of inference. But if it doesn't have that like moral category and alignment into it, obviously, because you can be
Hmm.
saying slavery's good, but obviously that use of
Hmm.
good there is going to be used in the wrong way. So yeah, like I
Uh-huh.
completely understand. Yeah.
And people have become too obsessed with that, and it bores me. It bores me to death.
Hmm.
And like goes back to what we said earlier. It's because people are focused on the gotcha
Yeah.
over truth. People don't care, but there are so many debaters, not just on TikTok, who do not care about changing minds. They don't care about the pursuit of truth. I'm not going to name any names, but there's a bunch that come to mind.
Hmm.
And on YouTube, TikTok, just throughout the entire debate scene, I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah.
And that's why I mainly run solo, you know?
Yeah. It's probably the best way to go. Yeah. Um, The next question is, what's one thing you think people misunderstand about your viewpoint?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Was that a viewer question or did you
Yeah,
come up with that?
yeah, I did.
Oh, wow. Uh, yeah, so I think what's one thing? Well, there are
Mm,
many, but I'd say if I could choose one,
yeah.
I think it's that they believe the opposing side believes that we dislike women
Mm,
or we want to take away women's rights. The truth is, and I say this all the time, the truth is, if I believed abortion was a human right, I would be fighting for it.
yeah.
But that's the issue. It's a loaded question. If I say to somebody, like when they say to me, "Oh, Divine, you're fighting against a woman's human right, her rights."
Hmm.
It's a loaded question because they're assuming that I agree it's a human right.
Yeah.
If I believe that abortion was a woman's right, I would absolutely be on your side. Um, so I think people need to ask, well, why don't you believe it's a woman's right, rather than just asking these loaded questions. So I would say the thing that most people get wrong is just assuming that we want to just simply restrict women's rights. It's all about that. I've said it all the time. If it was men that were getting pregnant, the trans community might say that. I'd say that's garbage. But let's say they do. let's say they could, or in a hypothetical world,
Hmm.
I would still be just as against abortion. It's not because it's a woman's choice.
Yeah.
It's because there's something truly not good and evil about the choice itself, right? The nature of the action is wrong.
Yeah.
That the nature of an action or the wrongness of an action doesn't change by the individual who commits the action, whether
No.
it's male or female. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I completely understand. Yeah, that's definitely one. Um,
Would you say that people get things wrong about your vegetarian view,
um, I haven't debated it in a
or your or
while,
your or your
but
vegan or your
yeah,
vegan view? Sorry.
vegan view. Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult, and like I haven't debated it in a while, so I wouldn't
Mhm.
be able to bring one up right now off
Mhm.
the top of my head. But
Is
definitely when I did debate, then yes, 100%.
uh-huh. Is there any reason why, how do I word this? Is there any reason why you've decided, despite holding to vegan ethics,
Hmm.
is there any reason why you've decided to be vegetarian as it relates to like your own personal life?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. It was mostly about like money. So the thing that I would hate is going back and forth between being vegan and just vegetarian. I'd actually like despise doing that because it would just make
Yeah.
me think like, what the hell am I doing? I'm not consistent.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I'd just rather when I become vegan, like I don't want to ever go back. So with the position right now that I'm in with like I haven't got a job right now. I'm waiting to pass my test, hopefully next week. And then I'm gonna get a job.
Your driving test?
Yeah, my driving test is next week. Yeah, so hopefully I
And you're
pass.
18?
Yeah,
Damn, I'm putting me to shame. What car are you gonna get?
I'm not sure yet. I have no clue.
Hmm.
Got to be vigilant on the insurance expense, but
You've got to get you definitely got to get a black
black
box
box.
unless you want to pay 10 grand in insurance, man. You gotta, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? My friend, he tried to get one without a black box when he was 17. Didn't go so well.
How much was he paying? Was it a lot?
I, I, I couldn't give you, this was like 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know if I
Yeah.
could give you the exact number, but I think it was above 6,000 just for, the insurance cost more than his car.
Jesus Christ. Yeah,
So it's,
it's bad. Yeah, it's
yeah,
crazy.
not good. But that's kind of why I've stayed away from it for now. But I definitely do want to be I want to have my own car very soon. I
Yeah.
probably will be driving in the next 12 months, but I'm actually going to learn in an automatic.
Yeah.
Uh, I think manual cars just they seem too much is going on, man. I can't do
Yeah,
it.
that's fair enough. Like, as long as the car gets you from point A to point B, what does it matter? Like, so.
Exactly. That's the classic poor man's excuse for driving a Renault Clio instead of a Lamborghini, you know? That's what I'm gonna say when people say what cars Divine ought to drive. I'm gonna say that good old line. It gets me from A to B.
Yeah, exactly. Um, okay. Oh yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so until I get a
Vegan.
car and
Yeah.
start a job, then as soon as I switch to going fully vegan, when I've got an income,
Hmm.
stable income. So
Hmm.
yeah, hopefully that answers the question. But
How long
yeah.
have you been vegetarian for?
6 months. So basically, it's interesting. I went like I stopped eating meat as soon as I was introduced to philosophy. So yeah,
Hmm.
I've only been
Oh wow.
I've only been like in the philosophy industry for like 6 months. So yeah,
I am sympathetic towards vegan ethics.
yeah,
I've said this on live many times.
hmm,
I don't agree with the current farming industry. I don't like the mass
yeah,
meat industry. I don't like
hmm,
the way animals are treated. And in fact, I hold a view which is very different to the average meat eater. A lot of meat eaters, oh, it doesn't care. I like bacon. That's
yeah,
just cringe, right?
yeah, yeah,
Um, I would say that most meat that's consumed is is sourced unethically.
mm,
Uh, so I would probably oppose like 95% of the way that meat is ate by most people and consumed and sourced.
yeah,
So that's why I buy all mine locally. I
hmm,
do believe, and I know obviously as somebody who believes in vegan ethics, you'll believe that any
yeah,
farming, even what I would consider ethical farming, you would say that's wrong. But
hmm,
from my point of view, I do believe, and I'm sure you would at least agree that local sourcing and ethical farming would be better than the way the
yes,
meat industry is treating them, right? That I think you would
yes,
agree
I
that
understand
allowing
that.
an animal to flourish and
Hmm.
serve some human good, cultural expression, dietary improvement, whatever it is,
Yeah,
I'm sure you would agree that that would probably be more comfortable for you to think about than I don't know, just grinding millions of pigs to put them on
yes,
display or something, you know?
yeah. It's not a nice picture, but yeah, I do agree. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
how long have you been debating for, and how do followers and viewers impact you as a debater?
Oh. That's a good question. So I've been debating. I think I touched on this earlier. I started debating when I was 17. I
Hmm.
actually used to go on things like Omegle, Omegle. I don't know if you remember that. I
Yes,
think it's shut
that's
down
where I
now.
started. Yeah.
Yeah. I started on there when I was like 17. Um, and I did. I used to debate about. I debated mainly during the 2020 election, Trump v.
Yes.
Biden.
Yeah, yeah.
That's when I mainly debated. I used to debate against Christians back then
Oh,
because this
really?
was before I became Christian. Yeah, it was 2 years
Mm.
before. And weirdly, even though I wasn't a Christian, I
Hmm.
was actually a Trump supporter back then. I was
Oh,
still.
okay.
I would say I've always been quite conservative
Hmm.
with my political views, even though I wasn't a Christian. Because a lot of people think all conservatives are Christian, but that
Yeah.
wasn't the case in my experience. But I started debating about 5 years ago. And I moved over to TikTok in April, yeah, April, early April, end of March last year.
Hmm.
And I just immediately just picked up quite a lot of traction.
Yeah.
Um, I immediately was debating with a lot of, good numbers. And I've been able to somehow hold that despite never showing my face,
Yeah.
apart from the occasional teaser on TikTok, people are desperate. The I've been doing that now for almost 2 years, and it's been amazing. Like I said, I have great supporters. They just keep me afloat. But having the followers and the viewers, we just hit over 50,000. We're gonna go for 100,000 hopefully one day.
W.
Yeah, it'll be amazing if we do that. But it's for me. I don't care about the followers because of a number. This is a common
Yeah.
misconception. I couldn't care if I had 10 followers or 10 million. The reason I've always wanted more viewers, the reason I've always wanted more followers, is so I can reach and change as many minds as possible,
Mm. Hmm.
right? I've received thousands of DMs, and I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying it to show the
Hmm.
impact. Thousands of DMs, thousands of people canceling abortion appointments, people showing me their child after they were delivered, after they considered an
Wait,
abortion,
really?
people thanking me because our conversation led to them not getting an abortion, people donating to charity because of my lives, doing charity streams myself, raising money, donating myself, helping charities. Uh, so many things that have come from it that people don't understand. People say that followers are just about clout.
Mm.
That's never what it's been about for me. It's all about reaching as many people as possible. And I mean, I believe there has been a slight cultural shift,
Hmm.
especially in the UK and the US, where I think more people are becoming against abortion.
Yeah.
In fact, there was a survey in 2022, I believe, just before I started TikTok, and they published that I believe it was 86% of young men agreed with abortion.
Oh,
Some
wow.
recent figures came out, and that number is now, I believe, somewhere between 40 and
Oh,
55%.
wow. Yeah.
So that number has dropped significantly.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's been due to things like Charlie Kirk, if it's been due to my efforts. I mean, my lives alone have reached 23 million views, 23
Yeah.
million people, 23 million unique viewers in less than 2 years. And obviously, Charlie Kirk's influence, which was way bigger than mine,
Yeah.
that spread globally. And obviously,
Hmm.
his death, as tragic as it was, it only elevated his message.
Yeah.
Like he is literally now um, well, he's everyone's talking about him even now, months after his death, and
True.
that's an amazing impact despite the tragic circumstances, and it makes me proud. So that's what I would say. I care about views and followers in that sense. A lot of people don't see it in that way, but I do, and hopefully we can just keep reaching more people.
Yeah, that's great. You definitely had a big impact on me, a good influence on me on the topic. So you definitely get
I
through to
appreciate
people. Yeah.
I
So,
appreciate that. Well, that's
of
that's
course.
that's what I've always tried. When I mentioned earlier, explaining complex ideas in
Hmm.
simplistic ways. Um, that's always been my goal.
Yeah.
I may not be the most high IQ debater in the world. I mean, a lot of people may say I'm good, but that depends on what you think, right? Depends on your preference, your opinions. Um, but it's never been about that for me. And like I said earlier, people who are focused on that being the best, the highest IQ, or all that garbage. They're bad faith, and this is why I think a lot of people struggle to grow platforms. It's because they have the wrong thing prioritized. And believe me,
Hmm.
people can see through bullshit. I hate to
Yeah.
curse, but it's true. People see through it. If you are there for clout or you're just there for getting W's, gotchas, as they say,
Yeah.
nobody's going to listen to that. And that's why I've never built my kind of my audience, my community around that. So
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. So if you have like more viewers, so say like on a day you had like 100, right? And then the next day you had like
yeah.
300. Would that influence
Hmm.
like your like debating like at all? or would it like,
Yes.
yeah?
Yeah, and this is an issue. I'm gonna call myself out here.
Hmm.
I have an issue to my energy should be the same when it comes to the pursuit of truth, whether there's 5 people watching or 300 or 400.
Yeah,
That shouldn't change. Unfortunately, the reality is that when, as humans, we know there's a lot more people listening, we do act differently. And I don't
yeah,
care what anyone says. That's just something we do. I'm trying to move away from that. I want to be at a point where I can go on an interview in front of thousands of people, and be the same as I am when I'm in a private Discord call.
yeah,
I want to keep things real. I've always tried to. But I'm going to be honest, I've never always been consistent with that. But I would say views influence me in a way that when I have a higher view count, I might be more, maybe, what's the word? Extra, maybe. I might try and go for the humor a bit more.
yeah,
Maybe you could argue I'm maybe even slightly meaner, and that's a fault of my own that I hope to really get rid of, because I'm not proud of that, and I never
yeah.
really want to be proud of that.
Well, at least you're honest about that stuff, you know. So
Well, I've always said I'll keep it real, and the
yeah,
podcast is a great place for me to do that. I told my viewers when I did this I was going to be as real and as raw and open as possible, and I'm going to say it right now. I do unfortunately change based on how many people we got watching, but again, we're gonna try and move past that.
yeah. Okay. How do you attack the problem of evil?
Mm. The logical problem of evil or the evidential?
I think because we went through this a bit, didn't we, before? And you said like the evidential was a bit more, like strong.
I'll be honest. I struggle if there was two kind of arguments that I struggle with the
Hmm.
existence of God. Being honest, it would be the evidential problem of evil.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's an inductive case. It says that the probability of God is less. Whereas with the
Hmm.
logical problem of evil, they're saying that evil can't exist with
Yeah.
an all-loving, all-good God. I think that argument's been thrown out for a while. I
Yeah.
don't think it's very strong. I think a lot of atheists have moved away from it. Um, and the evidential problem of evil, on the other hand, on the other side of things, though, is a little bit stronger. I think that, along with divine hiddenness, I really think, and a lot of people
Oh
kind of
yes.
find that interesting. They call me they say that I overrate it, but I truly believe the divine hiddenness arguments, some of them are
Yes.
really strong, right? When some of them present ideas that again, they're inductive arguments. They're not saying that God can't exist. They're just
Yep.
saying that we would expect certain things under like naturalism,
Yep.
and we wouldn't expect these things under theism, and we observe these things that would be indicated under naturalism. Like, for example, the fact that if you're born in a certain country, you have like a 90% lower chance of being a Christian.
Mm.
Um, that to me, and there are some explanations, there are theodicies, there are ways to explain these things.
Yep.
But to me, a lot of the explanations I've heard haven't been too great. Again, I'm happy with some of them that I think, they don't convince me out of Christianity, but they definitely are troubling for me. I'm going to be honest, when I'm up at night and I'm
Yeah.
thinking, what kind of makes me doubt that would be one of the things, some of those arguments, like I said, this idea that borders would influence whether or not you're likely to believe in Christ. That
Yes.
to me seems weird because I would expect that under naturalism, but I wouldn't expect it under theism. It may be my interpretation of that. A theist can just say that my understanding of theism is wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I don't know, man. That's just me speaking honestly.
Yeah. 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 Fair enough. This kind of already links because you used to, but this would just be switched. So how come you don't debate God on live? So obviously you used to debate against, but now you could probably debate for.
Mhm.
Is abortion your just main passion to debate about?
Um, I used to debate God's existence on live. I used to debate for God's existence, but I don't really do it anymore. I used to do
Oh,
quite a
you
bit of
so you
things with
did.
different creators. I did, yeah. People always ask me to bring it back and do it more. I debated occasionally with other creators, like do you know Young Bob, Turning Point UK?
Oh, Turning Point
He's
UK.
quite
Yeah,
big.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
got
yeah.
over 100,000 followers on X, and he's blown up recently. Young Bob, he's been arrested. He's getting in a lot of things. I used to do a lot of co-hosting with him back in the day. That was a lot of fun. I believe
Oh.
he's an Eastern Orthodox Christian. I just found that the reason why I stopped doing them
Mhm.
was because I found after I would get off a God debate,
Mhm.
it would put me in a headspace where I was exhausted, like
Yeah.
mentally and physically. I can't tell you the energy it took out of me.
Mhm.
Conversations would likely go on 2, 3 hours, which is great for a private Discord call. But for the kind of content I wanted to push to my audience,
Yeah.
I didn't feel it was beneficial to them. And I also found that I don't want to accidentally lead somebody astray.
Mm.
And although, like I said, I do think that, ideas should be expressed freely, that doesn't mean that I always have to use my platform to platform every idea.
Yeah.
That's I don't have an obligation or responsibility to do that. So I would just say that it could come back in the future, but I want to be more well versed. I want to be more read up. I'm a big fan of Aquinas. I'm a Thomist,
Mm,
a student of Aquinas.
let's go.
Um, I think he's got some really good arguments. I think the argument for motion is strong.
Oh, I love
Um,
Aquinas, man.
Diente Essentia, where he argues that God's essence is identical to his existence,
Mm,
and that's really good argument that gets into metaphysics and all that good stuff. There's a lot of things I do love about the God debate,
yeah.
but I think right now it's just not something I want to focus on. Abortion's been my passion for. I think it's because there's there's a I think the pro-choice culture, pro-abortion culture,
Hmm.
is a lot more vocal than the non-Christian culture,
Yeah.
like the non-theistic culture. I don't tend to really have issues in my personal life with people who don't believe in Christianity, but with abortion, I tend to get into a lot of more heated disputes, and I think there's just more emotion in it for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think you've just built your name around the abortion topic anyway. It's like whenever I like see your name, like I instantly think about abortion. So.
The abortion guy, yeah.
Mm.
That's that's the thing. I think moving away from that would actually be good. In fact, I do want to move away and become more of a neutral political commentator and debater.
Mm.
Maybe branch out to other platforms. I think that'd be very wise for me to do. I'll always still, probably be known as the abortion guy, and I'll always debate abortion. I don't
Yeah.
think that'll ever change. Whether it's popular or unpopular, I'm going to say it because it's what I believe in. But I do think it would be good to move away from just one topic and kind of show that I'm more well-rounded.
Yeah. 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 I understand. Um, I think we've kind of covered this, but I don't know if you want to add anything to this. What's your main goal with debating abortion?
My main goal. My main goal is to bring people to truth
Hmm.
and to turn people away from evil.
Yeah.
Evil is spreading rapidly throughout, especially Western societies. You don't have to be a Christian to know that people, the way that they are currently, they celebrate things that, the Bible talks about this. They celebrate things that are evil, and they are against things that are good. Right? And I know you're not a
Mm,
Christian, but it talks
yeah.
about how I think it says, "Woe to those who call evil good, and those who call good evil."
Hmm.
And in the end times, it says, the Book of Revelation, I believe. I couldn't give you the exact verse. That towards the end, everything that is evil will be called good, and everything that's good will be called evil. And we see that, right? Whether it's celebrating sin in the streets, right? Whether it's putting children on puberty blockers, whether
Yeah.
it's um, dancing naked in front of them at pride festivals, whether it's aborting their own children, the demonic language that's used. My child needs me to live. Me and my child are one. All these things are just very, they're rooted in demonic things, and I oppose that massively.
Yeah.
So I'd say my main goal is to just hopefully, I want to help towards a culture shift. I want the culture to change.
Yeah.
And that's why you mentioned earlier about views and followers. That's why I care about it, because
Mm,
the more people we can reach, the more significantly we can cause that cultural shift.
true.
And that's why I've cared about reaching people, and that's my main goal. I want people in 10 years to see me and point out that I played a key role in the cultural shift and the hopefully eradication of abortion. Now, obviously, we have a lot of progress. The U.S.
Yeah.
made a lot of progress 3 years ago. Did you see Roe v. Wade? Did you see that overturned
I think I wait.
in the
Explain the
Supreme
case.
Court?
What happened?
Roe v. Wade. So 50 years ago, almost,
Hmm.
they gave federal protections to abortion.
Yeah.
And in June of 2022, I don't know if you remember, but the Supreme Court overturned that.
Did they?
Um, yes, so now it's left up to the state to decide. So now, like, Texas might have a heartbeat bill, California might allow
Right.
abortion up to
Yes.
24 weeks, that
Yes.
that
Yes.
that kind of stuff, right?
Hmm.
And that was a huge stride. The fact that almost 50 years after they got given federal protections, the fact we saw a reverse
Hmm.
was such a good sign. Um, and
Isn't
I'm
it?
hoping that the UK follows.
Isn't it still like that? Like it's up to the states, right? Like it's
It
still
is up
like
to the
that right
states
now.
now, but before they had federal protections to abortions.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't left. So before it wasn't left up to the states.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And obviously that's a significant
That
shift
is a
because
big
of that.
difference. Yeah.
Of course, Texas has now had 50,000 more live births than they did when federal protections were to abortion were instilled. Not only that, but according to the National Vital Statistics System, in 2020. 2022, when they had federal protections to abortion for half of the year,
Hmm.
the maternal mortality rate was higher than in 2023, where they had more abortion restrictions in many states. So a
Mm.
common misconception is that if you ban abortion, women are going to die. Okay, so tell me why there are more maternal related deaths, higher maternal mortality rate when they have federal protections versus when they don't. Second example, Poland. The death rates um, for women, maternal mortality related issues, pregnant women, of course, is lower than Canada. Okay, Canada has some of the most lenient abortion laws in the world, right? Their death rate is 11 per 100,000.
Okay.
Poland is 2 per 100,000. So if abortion restrictions kill more women, why are less women dying in Poland than in Canada? I would love that to be answered. And, we're not talking about, slight increase or decrease. We're talking about Canada having an increase of almost 600% higher rate of dying from pregnancy-related issues than women in Poland, pregnant women in Poland.
Hmm.
So I think the pro-choice they've got to explain themselves and explain that.
That's
Um,
yeah, that's
so
interesting because
yeah.
the argument always happens like, oh, so the end goal is obviously to like eradicate abortions and ban abortions, but then more like dangerous abortions will be happening at home, for example. But then
Mhm.
yeah, like you've just said, like that's interesting.
The
Yeah.
data indicates the opposite. And what's interesting is that I think that argument that, oh, banning it, it'll happen anyway.
Yeah.
We could apply that logic to
To
anything that's
any yeah,
stupid, right? We could say that,
exactly.
well, we shouldn't ban heroin because people are going to do it
Yeah.
anyway. We shouldn't ban rape because people are going to rape. That's
Mhm.
garbage.
Yep.
The law exists for not just one reason. Okay, so people think the one reason the law exists is just to like lower or eradicate something.
Yeah.
The law exists to hopefully lower the amount something happens. I agree. That's one of the functions, but it's multifunctional.
Yep.
One of the reasons the law also should exist is that it should correspond with that which is just and that which is unjust. Because the moment the law doesn't do that, we should give up on laws altogether.
Yep.
And third of all, uh, is that the third function is that the law exists to punish the perpetrators of those actions. So let's
Mhm.
say that in one country, rape was legal, and in another, rape was illegal. Let's say those countries had the exact same amount of rapes. Somebody might say the law is pointless. I would say no, because the one where it's illegal is at
Punishes.
least punishing the rapists,
Yeah.
right? There is justice being served. So people need to throw out that god awful argument, and it needs to stop being recited. It's pure propaganda. It's rhetoric. And the
I agree.
pro-choice side rests on bumper sticker arguments. Everything they say is it's bumper sticker, it's posters, right? It's the kind of arguments you see at a protest on a sign. They have no substance. And I've always said this. You ask 10 pro-choicers, um, you speak to 10 pro-choicers, you'll get 10 different answers about the same topic.
Yeah.
You speak to 10 pro-lifers, you're likely to get 10 similar answers. Life begins at conception. Human
Mhm.
beings are valuable. And that's because the pro-life side is built on science and principle,
Mhm.
and the pro-choice side is built on emotion and an irrationality.
Yeah.
And that's why I think we see that.
Yeah. I agree, especially with the punishment of offenders thing. Like, it's just gonna act as a social deterrence, anyways, because people are obviously not gonna be wanting to be punished for that action. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I agree.
Of course, when there's a punishment, especially a harsh one, when there's a punishment in the play right at stake, people are absolutely going to stay away from that.
Yeah.
And it's currently I think that's one of the best arguments for capital punishment. I
Hmm.
actually am agnostic on the death penalty because I have some issues. I have some issues as it relates to pragmatism, the application of these
Yes.
beliefs. You know, but I think it's something I definitely want to think about more. But I do think the one good argument for it is like you said, it's such a deterrent. Right?
Yeah.
People don't want to die. Um, you know what I'm
That is
saying?
true. Yeah, yeah. The next question, this is kind of the last question, but I can add another one on. But do you ever debate outside of social media, maybe with friends or family? You kind of said with your granddad, but
Yeah, I used to debate a lot more in person, but since obviously debating is pretty much my job now, a
mm.
lot of people find that interesting. Get a real job. Uh, well, I say enjoy McDonald's. Come on now. No, but seriously, it's interesting. When people say that, I tend to stay away from it more in real life now, just
Yeah.
because I spend so many hours doing it online. When I
Mm.
didn't do TikTok, I spent more time doing it in real life because I didn't do it online, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, but I still do occasionally talk to my sister. My sister she's a liberal.
Oh, okay.
She's far left, yeah, pro
Yeah.
immigration. Well, I mean, I believe in immigration, just not illegal.
Hmm.
She's pro abortion. She's in favor of a lot of
Wait, she's
things that a lot of me.
pro-abortion.
Yes, she's in favor of a lot of
I
things
wonder
that
how the
I am
family
not.
dinners go down.
Well, it's at a point now where my mom like hates us even like seeing it. Like it's weird because I obviously love my sister. You know, I have
Yeah,
two
yeah.
older sisters. Uh, and we still have that bond, and I think we both recognize that, but we pretty much avoid talking about any of it now because we know that it's going to be a clash at any family event. And I'll be honest, it's me, man. I'm the one who usually brings it up. She's, you know, she has a page where she probably has 500 highlights of white guilt and white privilege and
Yeah.
how to, how to dismantle your white privilege and how what you know how to support abortion and all these things that I just
Oh.
I get a knee-jerk reaction when I see them. So I do struggle, especially when it's your family. But apart from
Yeah.
that, I don't really debate with my friends. A lot of my friends agree with my views. I tend to not be friends with many people on the opposite side. I'll be civil, but
Yeah.
I think you should. I think your inner circle is important,
Hmm.
and the Bible talks about this. You know, do not be unequally yoked. Right? This is talking about relationships, but also any relationship, whether it's romantic or not. For what does light have with darkness? For what does righteousness have with unrighteousness?
Mm.
I like to keep my circle where we share similar ideas. And it's great to speak to people who have opposing ideas, but I don't think opposing ideas should be in your inner circle, in my personal opinion. So I do debate outside of TikTok, just not as much as I used to,
Yeah.
because again, it would just drain me mentally, you know?
Yeah, that's fair enough. It's kind of just having that balance, isn't it? So, yeah. Um,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's got to be a balance, you
yeah,
know, yin and yang.
100%. The
Yin and yang
last,
does mean balance, right?
I think so.
Hold on, I gotta Google this. We can't.
I don't think you're
This has
tripping.
got to be cut. If so, I'm joking. Leave it in. Is it
Yeah, because it's the
yin?
symbol. It's that like symbol, isn't it? That like black and white
Yeah,
symbol, right?
I'm looking. I'm looking. Opposite forces are interconnected. Okay, that's
Duality.
this is with a balance. Here we go. Yes, core principles. One of the core principles is balance. You
Ah,
see,
there you go.
people who said I'm not well read. I'm well read on Chinese philosophy
Wait,
now.
yeah,
You know what
I
I'm
was about to
saying?
say that ancient Chinese philosophy.
Yeah, I actually had a Chinese woman massage my feet on a beach uh, last
Yeah.
month,
Just talking about yin
and
and yang with her.
no, because that would probably start a fight. But no, she did. Do you know what reflexology is?
I don't. What is that?
Oh, it's just like all pressure points in your body that, so you have Western medicine and you have Eastern medicine.
Hmm.
And Western medicine is going to say Eastern medicine is placebo, it doesn't work, like massage and things,
Oh,
lymphatic
okay.
drainage, all that. Whereas Eastern medicine are going to say Western medicine is poison. I like to combine the two in my own life. I combine Eastern medicine and Western. I
Hmm.
take many holistic approaches, but I also take advantage of the technology we have.
Yes.
I often see people like when they get cancer, for example, they take a one or the other, either just chemo and they keep eating McDonald's, or they go all holistic and don't have chemo. If
Yes.
it was me, and this is what my mother did, my mother had cervical cancer when I was younger. If it was me, I would take both approaches. I would hit it from both sides. I would take advantage of the holistic approach and the medicine we have.
Yeah.
And I think people have got it. This is what I mean about balance. People have got to stop being so, there's so one or the other. There's one thing you should be radical about.
Mm.
Two things:
Yeah.
the opposition of killing unborn kids and the opposition of whores, Jezebels, hookup culture.
Yeah.
If you oppose both those things and you're radical about them, you're okay. But if you're radical about, things like I said earlier, we touched on, I don't know if it was on the podcast, but people who are radically anti-vax, people who are
Mm.
radically against, like I said, medicine, like chemotherapy. I
Hmm.
think that's very unwise.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think you got to have balance, man. Yin yang.
Yin yang.
It's my
Exactly.
new bumper sticker.
That's the new. That's the new one.
And I don't have a car. I don't know where the bumper sticker's gonna go.
On the bus, on the
Uh,
public bus.
on the public, but I don't
Yeah.
ride buses because
Oh, really?
they stink. They stink. They're gross.
Trains.
No,
No trains.
any public transport
Right. I think it's going on your mum's
is not
car then. I guess.
my father's car, but yeah,
Father's car.
same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same
he's
thing.
he's
Yeah.
basically my chaperone. Divine Order lives that luxury lifestyle of being drove around by his father.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's
Just
awesome.
get equilibrium right on the back. Perfect.
Wait,
But yeah.
wait, what?
Um, equilibrium written right on the back.
That's the thing in your brain, right?
I think it just means balance. I think.
Wait, no, but it's in your brain. It's to do with balance.
Wait, really? Is
Yeah,
it? Is it actually? Maybe
yeah,
I learned something new today. I didn't know that. It says a
yeah.
state in
Also,
which
to the people
opposing
watching,
forces or influence are balanced. I don't know.
yeah. Also, to the people watching, if you thought this podcast was just going to be questions, you're mistaken.
Yeah.
We are absolutely, we're going to have these normal
Most
conversations as
unformal.
well.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't like formal stuff.
No,
Like
no.
it's cool, it's fun for a bit, but I think informal, you got to combine them. Yin yang, you got to have
Yin yang.
balance. You see what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Yeah.
Wait, is it yin yang or yin yang?
Ying. Yin
Yang.
yang. Yeah. ING, I think.
No, it's no, it's wait, what did you just say?
What?
It's
Wait, it's
yin.
wrong.
It's
It's wrong.
it's
It's yin. It's
it
yin. It's
it's
yin.
Y
Yeah, that's
I
getting.
N.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, yeah.
It's you know what would make sense
Yeah.
if it was yin and yang,
Yeah,
because
that's why.
yin has three letters and yang has
I know.
four, so
That's
it's not
why.
really
I.
balanced
That's why I
anymore.
thought it was ing. Yin yang.
Yeah, because then it would be equally amount of letters. It would look more,
Exactly.
balanced. And wait, hold on. This says yin yang. What? Sorry, I'm reading Google while we're on this.
Yeah, me
Um,
too.
but yeah. Anyway,
What?
any more questions
Oh,
about me?
sorry. One more was gonna be like, do you
I'm the
dedicate?
celebrity of this. Come on now.
Yes, exactly. Do you dedicate any time of your day or like week just to study philosophy? And will it be on just anything like random that you're interested in, or will it be like new abortion papers or anything like that?
Hmm. Yeah, so I do like reading, but I find I digest things better by listening. So I'll
Mm.
get like an audio book, I'll download an audio version of things. My advice, don't ever try and read the Summa Theologica by Aquinas. 5 million words, you won't do well.
5 million.
I think I
Jesus.
don't actually know. It's insane. I tried, didn't go so well. So instead, I just watch. I tend to benefit most. I like watching people debate, and then
Yes.
the ideas they debate about, I write
Y-
down, and
Yeah.
then I find the source of those ideas. For
Mhm.
example, if I hear future like ours mentioned, I'll read the original formulated argument by Don Marquis.
Mhm.
Great argument.
Yep.
I think future like ours is very strong. Um,
What a goat.
and go ahead, sorry.
I said what a goat. Oh,
What a
Marquis.
go! Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. He's almost as goated as Divine Order.
Well, almost.
He
It's
he
nearly
comes
reaching.
close.
Yeah.
He's well. I mean, he had to show his face. Come
Yeah.
on now.
True.
That's
True.
that's 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 crazy. I might actually start streaming with a mask soon, just because I have a McLovin. Do you know what a shiesty is?
A shiesty.
Yes, I have a McLovin shiesty. Is there any way that you can put this on screen?
I probably could.
Can you do it on the video? I want people to see this. Hold on, I need
Yes.
to find it.
Yeah. I probably.
Wait, do I
Oh
have
my
one?
god, that's what a shiesty is.
Don't wait. Did you show it?
No, I haven't shown it, but I looked at it on my other one.
I was gonna say I want you to show mine, but I can't. Wait, what if I just type in my
You
photos
you
and make
have
love
to
it?
do that. You actually have to do that. Wait, I want a Walter White one of those. I see a Walter White one.
Is that? I once wrote in my server. I once sent a photo of my McLovin shiesty, and somebody responded, "Is that McLoving? Loving?" And
Loving.
somebody responded, "Nah, bro, that's KFC hating." That is the most
That is crazy.
cringe.
Yeah.
That's the most cringe thing I've ever read in my life. Hold on, I'm trying to find it. This needs to be on screen for the viewers.
Yes.
I actually recently, I don't know if you saw, I
Mm.
recently, it's interesting you ask about like what do I do in my spare time. I can't believe I didn't mention this. I just dropped this kind of like upgraded tier where if people pay like £25, I think you saw it on my story where
Yes, I
people
did.
get access to like the one special lives, the free tips on how to grow the platform, the private one-on-one messaging with any questions, the
Yep.
entry into the private Discord group call, all that good stuff. That's something I've been working on the past few weeks,
Look at that.
setting it all up and advancing my knowledge. Because a common misconception is that the only way to help a movement is to change the minds of the opposing sides.
Mhm.
False. One of the best ways to help a movement is to sharpen your own side, is to sharpen the minds of the people who agree with you. Because if you do that, they can spread the message even
Oh,
further.
true.
Let's say 5% of my followers improve their arguments by watching me. Okay, so 5% of 52,000 is 2,500, 2,600 people, right?
Mhm.
Um, if 5% of those, so 2,500 people or whatever, if they go out and change 10 people's minds, that's 26,000 people's minds change. That's just an example. They could change 100. I don't know. The point is that changing or aiming towards a cultural shift is not just about changing the opposition side,
Yeah,
but also strengthening the
you're right.
side of your own side. That's, in
Hmm.
my opinion, something people don't focus on enough. And people have, messaged me saying I've improved how they are debating. I've received hundreds, thousands of messages like that, and that's inspiring. That's why I keep on going,
Yeah, that's
even
great.
if I do get told to, you know,
Do
I
you
get some
get
horrible
a
death
lot of?
threats,
Yeah, I was about to ask that. Do you get a lot of
thousands of
horrible
death threats,
messages?
thousands of. You
Mm.
couldn't imagine, man. That is tough,
Does that affect
and
you
it's more.
a lot?
It's not what they say about me.
Mm.
It's what they say about they're going to do to my family. That
Yeah.
hurts because I don't want to drag them into it. And I would hate anything to happen to somebody else because of me. That would really piss me off.
Yeah.
I'd be really frustrated. I think that would definitely cause some doubt to my mind about what I want to do with social media.
Mm.
But so far we've been lucky, Well, not lucky. A, it's God's will, and B, it's because I don't show my identity. That's one of the reasons people don't understand that.
Yeah.
I know I could get more viewers if I show my face.
Mhm.
52,000 followers without a face cam. I could probably have 100, 200 if I didn't. I could go
Yeah.
on interviews more. I could go on Jubilee if I want. Like I could, try and go on
Yeah.
that. I could do these things. But for me, as I've proven time and time again, it's not about clout. It's about
No.
seeking truth, changing minds, and helping a cultural shift. And I want to do my part and prove that you can do it without having a gorgeous face. To clarify, I do have a gorgeous face, uh, but I just want to
Yeah.
prove you can do it without.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's a great way to end the podcast as well. I think. We've been
Hmm.
here for yeah, about an hour now, anyways. So, all right. Thank you for being here, Divine Order. Thank you.
No, it's a pleasure. It was a lot of fun. I hope people learned more about me. I hope people learned more about the where my heart's at, where my mind's at, how I really feel about things. To those watching, whether you know me, if you don't know me, hello. My name's Divine Order. I'm on TikTok. We all live every single day. We debate abortion, many different political hot topics, trans stuff, God's existence, all that good stuff. I am a conservative. I am a pro-lifer. I'm a Christian. And huge shout out to the Rodeo of Reason for having
Let's
us here.
go,
Up and
W.
coming, up and coming
Up and
podcast. You
coming.
see, when you eventually have people way bigger than me on here, this will be that you can remember that I was one of the OGs on here,
Exactly.
which
Oh,
it's a
oh,
pleasure.
you'll never be forgotten. Ever.
Exactly. I've always wanted to do a podcast, and I want to do more in the future.
Yep.
And it literally is just to give people a chance to kind of find out who I am, without knowing too much, because I don't want to make people fall in love. Um, and
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's been a pleasure, and
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for having me on the Rodeo of Reason. That's what it's called. Am I butchering
Yes.
that?
No, no, you're saying it right. And of course, yeah. All right. Thank you, guys.